The little Ramones right there.
Yeah.
Ramon.
Ixi!
Eita, falhou a vinheta.
Oh shit! I got Chihuahua crying.
Hello, my friends! Estamos ao vivo no nosso tradicional Talk Conversa sobre rock e metal, terça-feira, Heavy Culture na área. Hoje, apresentando orgulhosamente. Primeiro, eu vou saudar o Christian e Ivan, sejam bem-vindos, Christian, Ivan, e o nosso querido Rick Rozz, Master Supreme.
No, Master Supreme. Old lazy guy.
Welcome.
No, and thank you very much. It's an honor once again.
Once again.
Galera, se inscreva no canal, aquela coisa toda, dá uma força pra gente. E hoje a gente vai conversar, aproveitem o chat aqui, a gente está com essa lenda do death metal aí americano, é o nosso ídolo e um cara super bacana, super tranquilo. Então é isso aí, Heavy Culture é conversas, talk com os nossos ídolos de uma forma direta, objetiva, sem nenhum tipo de conflito de interesse. A música é a nossa prioridade. Vamos lá. Eu quero perguntar para o Rick, Left to Die é um projeto aí, um tributo, né, do Rick com Terry Butler, o pessoal do Grillsoma, aí no sentido de dar de homenagear o famoso Leprosy do Death. Christian, como surgiu essa ideia maravilhosa de formar esse tributo e o que o Leprosy representa, né, depois de todo esse tempo para ele na carreira dele, por favor.
Okay, George is asking about the idea of creating a Left to Die and this tribute to Leprosy. How did it begin?
A question that I had, and it just evolved into reality really quick, and I didn't expect it. So, it was just literally just a question that I asked to Mr. Gus Rios from Gruesome. I asked if he was interested and if he thought that Terry would be interested, and if Matt would be interested in Mr. Matt Harvey from Exhumed and Gruesome. But it all goes to Terry Butler. You know what I mean? Death, Massacre, Obituary, and Human Condition. It was his authority to allow it to happen, and he allowed it to happen. And I think it's pretty freaking cool. After a few negative things that had happened with the Massacre Camp back with the Back from Beyond release, it was a very successful tour. Some stuff happened. I opened my big mouth, said some bullshit, but and I have no problem with admitting it. But you know, he's cool enough to he wants to be my friend and get back into the music thing and do this Leprosy tribute, which we had much involvement in. And I think it's freaking great. Okay. If that makes any sense. I'm trying to post our little thing right now, so
yeah.
I wasn't ready.
No problem.
But yeah, no, there's nothing but respect to Terry Butler and to Matt Harvey and to Mr. Gus Rios. This is going to be really cool stuff. I have my work cut out for me. I still have a little bit of time to learn these songs, but it's been 34 years. But it's going to be fun. I have to look at it that way. It's fun. It's not like it's fun. It has to be fun. That's all it is. And all out of respect for everybody. It's respect.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give the Portuguese version for the audience here in Brazil. Bom, a ideia começou mesmo foi com o Terry, tá? Apesar de todos os problemas que eles tiveram ali depois da turnê do Massacre, coisa que ele fala que ele teve um pouquinho de desentendimento, mas o Terry ainda é amigo dele, se dão bem, então ele atribui toda essa questão ao Terry, porque ele que foi o responsável, né? Ele, o pessoal do Gruesome também, né? De formar esse tributo, e ele tá muito feliz que ele deu certo, né? Também é muito divertido estar tocando de novo as músicas ligadas com Leprosy também, que fazem parte da carreira, coisa e tal. Mas quem é o responsável mesmo foi o Terry, assim, né? Ele põe na dele.
E a importância, Christian, do Leprosy, depois de todo esse tempo, parece que, né, o tempo passa e a gente percebe cada vez mais, assim, cada álbum do Death tem o seu momento, né, a sua importância, mas o Leprosy, ele é um álbum especial, né? Como é que o Rick vê esse álbum depois de todo esse tempo, esse filho aí, né, que ele ajudou aí a conceber? Como é que ele vê hoje o Leprosy?
Mm-hmm. Well, Jay is talking about the fact that the Leprosy is the most recognizable album of Death's career. You know, like everybody knows, everybody loves Leprosy, and after all these years, it's still a top 10 album. Everybody won't say a bad word. There is no impossible. And how do you see and how do you feel about this album nowadays?
I think all those comments are very flattering, and that was the very first record I've ever recorded, like for real, like a real record with a real band in the studio, 1988. Regardless of learning the Scream Bloody Gore songs and Mr. Terry Butler and Mr. Bill Andrews and myself doing the Scream Bloody Gore tour with Chuck, that was our very first real recording all together. The very first real recording as a band, because Death was Chuck Schuldiner and Chris Reifert. No disrespect to John Hand, but John Hand did not record that record. So that was two people that recorded that record. So it was very flattering and very cool, because Chuck and I have known each other, and he was very accommodating to allow us to come into that and do that record. And it was very cool and very flattering.
Great. Ele se sente bem lisonjeado pelos comentários, né, do Leprosy, né? Para ele foi muito importante, que foi o primeiro álbum que ele gravou na vida, né? Foi a primeira gravação de estúdio dele, né? E primeira gravação do Death também como banda, porque na verdade ele cita que o Death era só o Chuck, né? Então, tipo, tem isso também. Então, ele era muito amigo do Chuck também. Então, para ele foi bem importante, né? Ainda teve o Terry junto. Então, tipo, foi o álbum que realmente deu cara de banda. Foi um trabalho bem legal, assim, para ele. Né? Ele se sente lisonjeado até hoje por isso. Porque foi o álbum que abriu, né? Tipo, o primeiro álbum realmente gravado em estúdio profissional, mesmo como tudo tinha que ser, né? É um pouquinho diferente do Scream Blood Gore, né? Que praticamente dá para dizer que é todo, né?
Sim.
Chuck, né? E
a primeira
ele já
encarnação
tem mais...
de banda, né?
Tipo, é aí que virou uma banda de verdade mesmo.
Sim.
Né?
Aí de um projeto e se tornou uma banda.
Tipo, tu pega ali, tem aquelas demos ainda, né? Mas dá para dizer que o Leprosy é realmente o que transformou o Death numa banda grande de verdade também, né? Por isso é um álbum tão conceitual até hoje, né? Não tem como alguém falar mal desse álbum. Do Scream Blood agora até tem, mas...
Vai lá, Ivan.
Certo. Só já emendando com a pergunta do Jorge, ele já entrou na banda na turnê, e ele compôs das 8 músicas do Leprosy, ele compôs 4 músicas. Ele tinha essa liberdade de compor, ou ele já tinha essas ideias do Mantas e não foi aproveitado?
Boa.
Okay. Ivan is asking about the compositions. You have 4 compositions in Leprosy, and you entered the band when the band was still touring. Did Chuck give you clearance to compose everything that you feel like composing, or you got something from Mantas too? No.
I'm sorry. Repeat that again. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Eva is asking about your compositions on Leprosy, because you have 4 songs composed on the album, okay, and you entered during the tour. And Eva is asking if you had the freedom to compose everything that you compose, or
totally. I mean, Chuck and I were at his house playing riffs together.
Great.
I mean, he taught me all the Scream Bloody Gore stuff, and Terry Butler and Bill Andrews and myself had rehearsals before the Scream Bloody Gore tour because obviously we had to learn those songs first. But I already knew Evil Dead and Baptized in Blood, and because those are Mantis songs. So there were some Mantis songs that Chuck released on Scream Bloody Gore. But regardless of that, we had total rehearsal of the Scream Bloody Gore record because that was the very first thing we did with Death. When I got in touch with Chuck about having a lineup, you know what I mean, for the tour with Terry and Bill. So we learned all that stuff, and then the Leprosy stuff just came as it came, and we did the Scream Bloody Gore tour, and then we wrote the Leprosy stuff. But yes, the freedom of writing with Chuck and I was very comfortable. There was it was very smooth, and in the studio it was very smooth, and whatever he had in his mind for his future, for his band, was his business, and it was his decision. You know what I say? You know what I'm saying? Does it make sense? I was just I was just going along with a childhood teenage friend.
Yeah.
And he allowed it to happen. He was. I mean, we all had our own talents. You know what I mean? But he's on the mic. When you got somebody on the mic, that's the spokesman of the band. So, and whatever his future held for himself, I respect that 100%, and I've always respected that. I'm not one to fight that. I'm not one to say, hey, no, you can't do that. This is my band too. No, we were a unit for a moment, and I think we did a pretty freaking cool record with Leprosy. And that's really... Yeah, there's no negative, man. It's all cool. That was my very first record. If it wasn't for that guy, Terry Butler, Bill Andrews, and myself would have never done a record.
Yeah.
So, and maybe my question to him might have helped that a little bit, but I don't control everybody else's decisions. You know what I mean? I'm myself.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I'm gonna talk to the audience here in Portuguese. Okay. Bom, ele fala ali que ele teve liberdade, sim, né? Porque ele e o Chuck foram sempre amigos, assim. Ele aprendeu a tocar as músicas do Scream Blood Gore na turnê, né? Ele e o Chuck ficavam tocando em casa, né? Ensaiaram pra turnê. E ele teve essa liberdade de compor, porque eles já eram amigos, né? Sempre foram bem amigos, assim. Então isso ajudou bastante, assim. O Chuck não era um cara que ficava exigindo demais, né? Então, tipo, ele teve, assim, uma liberdade de compor as músicas com tranquilidade. Para gravar também foi bem tranquilo quando chegaram no estúdio também, porque, como ele falou, eles já tinham esse entrosamento, eles já eram amigos, né, de tempos, assim. O Terry Butler também ajudou bastante, então eles também são amigos ali há muito tempo, então isso fez com que a coisa fluísse naturalmente, assim. Já bem. Depois dessa turnê, eles encabeçaram o que seria o Leprosy, né? Ele fez as 4 músicas, o Chuck fez as 8, mas as outras 4, desculpe. E o Chuck não era um cara que ficava, tipo, dizendo, não, a banda é minha, e ele também dizia pro Chuck, não, a banda não é minha. Então, o Leprosy é o que realmente fez com que o Death virasse uma banda de verdade, né? Ele fala, foi ali que começou um line-up verdadeiro, né? Apesar de ter ali as demos do Mantas, né, ter o Scream Blood Gore, mas aquilo não era um line-up fixo, né, não era um line-up verdadeiro. No Leprosy que deu toda essa estabilidade e também ajudou também para o Death conseguir ir para frente, assim. Ele se sente bem honrado também por ter feito parte disso, como ele falou, é a primeira gravação dele, né, a primeira coisa de estúdio, ele deve bastante isso ao Chuck, bastante ao Terry também, né, então quando montaram o Left to Die também foi bastante por conta do Terry, né, pela essa amizade que eles têm, assim, e também por essa parte da ligação que os dois têm também com o Leprosy, que é bem profunda, né, é uma parte que conecta os dois sempre, assim. Eu posso fazer a pergunta da audiência ali?
Por favor.
Tá. There is a question from the audience here, okay? Luis is asking if there is any possibility of us seeing the band playing here in Brazil.
All I can say is this is really, really brand new. And like I said, very odd that it's happening, but very cool. But who knows what the future holds? You know what I mean? We have a little run coming up here in the States starting in July. and we'll see how that goes. We're going to do some rehearsals. We'll do some video that people can see that we're actually rehearsing together when it, you know what I mean? So beforehand.
Yeah.
So I would love to come to Brazil because I've never been there. So
Yeah, it would be great to have you playing here.
no,
Bom,
that'd be great.
yeah. I'm gonna speak in Portuguese a little bit. Bom, ele fala que a coisa ainda é nova, ainda tá bem fresca, né? Eles estão começando a fazer os esquemas dentro dos Estados Unidos, agora em julho tem turnê já também, para começar assim, eles estão bem entusiasmados com isso e também bem... esqueci a palavra em português, pá. Empolgados com o fato de que... não, é que eles não esperavam tanto assim, tipo, eles não sabem se vão vir pro Brasil, ele gostaria bastante, que ele nunca tocou aqui, então ele quer tocar aqui, né? Então, tipo, eles vão ver, ninguém sabe o que vai acontecer, quem sabe no futuro sim, tomara, né? Mas, como ele falou ali, ainda a coisa tá muito fresca ainda, muito nova ainda, e eles ficaram surpresos da coisa ter dado certo, assim, né? Ter essa urgência, assim, as pessoas quererem ver o tributo mesmo, porque tá funcionando bem esse tributo, né? Então, tipo, tem tudo isso acontecendo, eles estão ensaiando direto, né? Estão se programando para shows, mas vamos ver, quem sabe, né? Tem o Terrorizer aqui.
Já emenda com essa do Terrorizer aí.
Okay, we have another one from the question here, like from the audience. Just go. I'm sorry.
No, it's very flattering. I'm getting questions.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
John Terrorizing is asking if you have any plans to record anything from Left to Die with the same kind of sound as Leprosy.
That's the plan. I mean, I don't know the sound of Leprosy. I mean, we're not going to rip off Leprosy, but I'm going to say that there's no reason why we shouldn't put a couple of songs together. You know what I mean? An EP or a record together of what the four of us can come up with. But you have to understand. Oh, kitty cat.
Yeah.
No, I got a chihuahua yapping in the background. I'm sorry about that. And 6 other dogs and a cat and a turtle. But yeah.
Mine is hunting.
Right. No, it's totally cool. But it's going to get loud. It's going to get loud in the next 5 or 10 minutes when Ellen gets home and everybody gets going. But yeah, that would be freaking great. But you have to understand, and everybody needs to understand, is Terry Butler is in Obituary and Human Condition and Left to Die. Okay? Matt Harvey is in Exhumed and Gruesome. Gus Rios, drummer, is in Gruesome and his own stuff that he does himself and with his brother. So scheduling, let me rephrase. Matt Harvey lives in California.
Yeah.
And Gus Rios lives in Fort Lauderdale, and Terry Butler lives in Tampa, and I live in Altamont Springs, Apopka area. So, but there's no reason why we couldn't put some original music together as a band. This is a tribute. This is literally a tribute, period. There's just an idea, and it came to fruition, if that's the right way I'm pronouncing that.
Yeah.
But, and I have a lot of work to do. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. But it would be great to see like a Unreal album coming to. It would be like very.
No, that would probably be the coolest thing ever. If that's meant to be, I have no objections with that. And working with these guys and putting some music together, that'd be freaking great.
Yeah. Ok, gonna speak in Portuguese. Bom, tem a possibilidade, porém, como ele falou ali, né? Todo mundo tem sua própria banda, né? Tem o Gruesome, né? Tem o Terry tocando no Obituary, né? Eles não moram perto, então tem todo esse problema de logística de ensaio também, né? Ele não quer fazer uma coisa tipo uma coisa roubada do Leprosy, né? Quer manter aquela sonoridade, mas fazer alguma coisa original também, né? Tem a possibilidade, mas né, eles ainda estão em cima do tributo, porque eles montam. Como ele fala ali, o Left to Die é um tributo, né? Ponto final. É uma banda tributo. Mas não foi feita para ser uma banda que fosse virar banda, porque todo mundo tem banda ali, né? Então, tipo, Gruesome tem turnê, tu tem Obituary, tu tem todas essas bandas, são bandas grandes que estão em turnê. Então, tipo, tem show para fazer também, né? Desculpe. Então, tipo, isso dificulta um pouco que o Left to Die vire uma banda, né? Ele continua ali como um tributo, né? Tá começando a fazer os shows, né? Porém, tem essa pequena dificuldade, assim, mas não é descartado nada, né? Tipo, pode ser que eles metam realmente o projeto e gravem um álbum mais na cara, com a cara deles, assim, né? Tudo depende do Terry Blutter, né?
E eu queria perguntar se a proposta do tributo é tocar o Leprosy na íntegra. E tá tendo dificuldade por parte deles de realmente, né, passar o álbum a limpo depois de todo esse tempo, assim, né? A memória, enfim, tem que puxar bastante, né? Como é que ele tá vendo esse desafio aí? Qual é a maior dificuldade, aliás? Vamos melhorar a pergunta. De resgatar essas músicas, né?
Jay is asking about the difficulty to bring back all these songs from Leprosy, okay, and play the whole album together, all the songs. If you have any kind of difficulty to play all those songs after this time, you know, like a long time without playing together too, which is important too. And, you know, remember all the songs, the way that they are composed, and the way that you play the songs and things like that. Is there any difficulty, or is it like flowing naturally again?
For me, it's far from naturally because it's been 34 years. But as I've been a little lazy, I'm going to be honest. I really need to attack these songs because this needs to be done properly. But there is muscle memory that comes back as I'm playing them, but because this was really just a question that came into reality, and now there's like actually a tour, and I don't want to make a fool of myself or anybody else. So to answer Jay's question, yes, it's a fucking bitch.
Okay.
But no, just dead honest, it's not easy. You know what I mean? Some really friggin' shred guitar players will admit that it's not.
When it was composed originally, it wasn't easy, you know.
No, but we played these songs live, and Chuck and I did 2 guitar tracks in the studio each, but I didn't have any idea this was going to happen. So like I said, it was a question and it happened, and now I have to, but I'm not gonna. I've got to work, man. That's it. Got to go to school.
Yeah.
Live in Leprosy La Vida. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
For real.
For real. Ok. Para ele tá sendo difícil assim, lembrar de tudo isso, que para ele, pô, mas é o que tá mais distante, assim, né? Porque ele anda meio preguiçoso, assim, né? Mas ele tá se puxando, né? Tem a memória muscular ali, né? Foi ele que gravou também, né? Então tem que saber tocar isso aí, né? E agora que tá acontecendo a turnê, né? Ele não quer passar de bobo, né? Não quer fazer papel de bobo em cima de um palco, né? Com aqueles sons ali que são, né, clássicos. Obviamente o Terry sabe direitinho o que tá fazendo, coisa e tal, mas ele é o que ficou mais, né, parado, assim, né? Então, tipo, pra tocar de novo é um pouco complicado, assim, né? Como ele mesmo falou ali, que ele é um pouco preguiçoso pra isso, né? Então, tipo, pra ele é um desafio mesmo da vida ao Leprosy de novo, né? Então, tipo, é bem difícil. Mas estamos lá, né? Tem a turnê aí e o negócio tá bombando.
É uma oportunidade bacana de ver isso, né? Vai lá, Ivan.
Sim.
Agora, saindo um pouco do Def aqui, ele participou também na banda do Human Condition. Ele nunca pensou em participar da banda como integrante ou não foi convidado para participar?
Okay. Tá. Ivan is talking about Human Condition. You had a participation on the band. Have you ever considered being a full member of the band, or just invited to play there?
No, that was just an invite, which was very flattering and really out of the blue, because between Jeremy and Taylor, they actually wrote the whole record for that supposed Massacre record that was going to happen. Not to drop that name, but they were left hanging, so they had a bunch of songs, and Jeremy contacted me, and we talked, and it was really weird, but very cool, and we had a couple of laughs. And I was invited to come and do 3 whammy solos, some whammy shenanigans on their first release. And I had I don't even know if Terry Butler was in line for being the bass player for the band then, but yeah, so I went out there. I drove out there myself, and they were way cool, very hospitable, and it was very cool. That's all I have to say. It was an honor and a pleasure to do that. And yeah, those guys are fucking killer. No,
Yeah.
they're just straight shooters. You know what I mean? There's no bullshit. Bullshit happens, but you have to either go with it or say, hey, not part of my language, fuck it, and go your own way. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and they did that as well as Mr. Mazzinetto and I did with when we put Massacre back together again, which is probably my only regret in musical life. So yeah, that was with that last lineup, whatever the freaking frack that was about, a waste of time. So but yeah, it was cool, dude. Jeremy and Taylor rock, and Human Condition is freaking killer. And nothing but respect to those dudes. And that's all I have to say, man. It's cool.
Ok.
Sorry.
Bom, deu pra- Tocar com o Human Condition foi bem legal, foi bem lisonjeante para ele, porque ele foi convidado para fazer esses 3 solos, ele dirigiu para lá. Eles tiveram deram bastante risada, assim, tiveram algumas diferenças, né, já faz tempo isso, né, coisa que ele põe de lado, assim, que é, tipo, quando ele fala coisa de criança, ou tu deixa de lado, ou tu, né, se ferra, né. Mas para ele foi bem legal ter feito os solos, coisa e tal, né? Mas ele foi só convidado mesmo, né? Tipo, o que para ele foi bem legal, assim, né? Ele nem sabia que o Terry ia estar lá também, quando jogou ele ficou surpreso, né? Tipo, né? Então, tipo, ele fez os solos, né? Como convidado, gostou bastante, foi bem legal. E ele não se arrepende disso, né? Tipo, foi uma coisa bem legal mesmo. Agora esperava.
Eu vou perguntar, eu vou fazer a pergunta aqui e aí tu traduz para ele. O Rick Rozz, ele tem uma identidade incrível, uma identidade sonora que eu sigo há muito tempo, desde o tempo do próprio Leprosy. Então ele tem um timbre de guitarra extremamente particular dele. Então todo mundo que faz as cópias, as músicas do Massacre, especialmente do From Beyond e do Human Condition, e depois do Back From Beyond, o timbre dele é igual. É igual. E os caras do Human Condition praticamente copiam o timbre que ele criou. Então, para ele, como é que é para ele manter esse mesmo timbre ao longo dos anos? Que é extremamente uma identidade dele.
Okay. Ivan is asking about the sound your guitar, okay, which is like your identity, and also Human Condition has the same kind of sound too because of you, obviously because of Massacre too. Like, how do you see this identity? Like, because lots of other guitar players try to have the same kind of sound you play when you were playing the guitar, kind of mime your sound.
Oh, I don't have any clue about that. That's very flattering, but on all aspects. But I just go with my own ear. I'm not a song writer or song reader. I just write some riffs. I don't have a clue about lyrics or anything like that. It's about what sounds good to me, and not to be pompous saying what sounds good to me. It's just about what I think sounds good when I'm getting guitar sound. As far as others trying to or flattering me on my guitar sound, that's very flattering because listen, man, I'm just like you 3 guys. We're just human beings, right?
Yeah.
So it's got nothing to do with all that stuff and flattery and but yeah, I don't think about that, man. Never have, never will. But it's very flattering. So
Yeah.
But I don't have any tips. I mean, I'll send anybody that wants to know what my settings are on my amp, but I don't have anything, dude. This is brand new. I'm borrowing a friggin' amp head from a very good friend of mine that I've known since I was 14 years old, who just delivered it today. Mr. Greg Guber from Music City. which is downtown sound now, which I just did a post before I posted this is going live for whoever's listening and whoever cares. But he recorded the very first Death demo for us in 1984, the Death by Metal demo. So yeah, it's very flattering, man. But I just, if people dig what I get a sound for, that's cool. But I'm not saying, hey, this is the sound you have to get. You know what I mean? If you dig it, you dig it. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling on.
Yeah.
Bom, yeah, so okay. It's cool. It's very flattering.
Yeah. Ok, ele se sente bem lisonjeado com isso, né, de ter pessoas que sigam o timbre dele, a sonoridade que ele tem, né, porque não foi uma coisa intencional, ele simplesmente é o jeito, ele não escreve letras, né, ele só compõe, né, então, tipo, desde quando ele era adolescente, ali, que ele conseguiu a primeira guitarra dele, o primeiro amplificador, só usava um delay e deu, pronto, era aquilo ali, né, é o que foi visto no show também, o primeiro show que fizeram também, foi só o amplificador, um delayzinho e deu, né, aquele ali é a identidade dele, né, então, tipo, ele se sente lisonjeado, que as pessoas, né, para ele é novo, isso as pessoas meio que tentarem copiar a sonoridade dele, né, também ele se sente lisonjeado com isso, né, não tem o que falar a respeito disso, né, então, tipo, para ele é legal, assim. Pode falar, João. Tu tá sem som.
Sorry. O Rick assinou 4 sons do Leprosy, que são, né, a Born Deaf, Left to Die, a Open Casket e a Shock on It. Eu queria saber qual foi a principal influência dele ou da banda na época, o que eles estavam ouvindo na época e que influenciou diretamente eles na composição dessas músicas.
Okay, Jay is asking about the 4 songs that you composed in Leprosy and the album itself, and what were you listening to while you were composing this album, okay?
Well, I had 5 songs that I composed with Chuck.
5 songs?
There's 8 songs on the record. Chuck and I composed 5 songs together. I did the music for Primitive Ways myself. He did Leprosy, the title track, himself, and pulled a plug himself. So the other 5 that are left over, I believe that's 5 if my math is right, we composed together.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Right. And just in a house with a dual cassette player, playing riffs that we had, putting a song together. So it was really cool.
Yeah. Any kind of influence that influenced you to create that album?
It's gonna get loud.
Cérebros ataque.
I told you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it's gonna get. I wonder if I. Hold on.
We're having fun.
It could be like really cool, but it's really happening.
O cachorro quer participar da live.
Ao vivo é isso aí, como diz o Faustão. Quem
No,
sabe faz ao vivo, hein, meu?
This will work outside.
Yeah.
No, I'm dead. Life in the fast lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no problem.
That was a joke, by the way. There's no fast lane here, But yeah, what I just said, it was just what happened, man. We co-wrote 5 songs. I wrote 1 song. He wrote 2 songs, and he allowed everything to happen. It was his band. You know, we were doing a band together, but when you're on the mic and you're talking to people and you're saying something to people, that's a whole different ball game of music. You know, you could play guitar and play drums and play bass. You could do all 3. But if you can't sing, that's the good cake with the icing. So, but that's all I have to say about that. But yeah, so if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Ele fala que ele tem 5 músicas, tá? Ele não fez 4, são 4 que estão ali, mas ele fez 5, né? Paul the Plug também tá ali, que é dele também. Mas eles, quando começaram a compor, eles começaram a compor naturalmente, tá? Foi algo que aconteceu do jeito que tinha que acontecer. Tipo, o Def tava virando banda, né? Foi uma coisa natural, eles estavam sempre tocando, né? E dá pra dizer que o álbum, eles ouviam bastante Slayer. O Chuck nunca ouviu.
Quem não ouvia?
Não, o Chuck não. Mas disso joke. Então é isso, assim, é uma coisa que saiu natural. Tá? Ele não fala das influências ali porque eu acho que ele não quis dizer assim, o que realmente levou, né? Mas mais pelo fato de que o álbum saiu naturalmente, assim, tá? Mas eu posso perguntar de novo.
Audience.
Para a audiência aí, do João Terrorizer.
Ok. John Terrorizer is asking if you have any composition in the album Spiritual Healing.
I want to say there might be a riff or two, but yeah, I'm not gonna, push that. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's cool. No,
Okay.
I'm not looking for. Had nothing to do with that record. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, ok. Ele pode dizer que ele tem um ou outro riff, mas ele não vai dizer isso, né? Porque ele não compôs, né? Então, tipo, tá ali, só tá ali.
Vai lá, Ivan.
Ok.
Tá, eu ia perguntar uma coisa, porque daí ele saiu do Def e se voltou com o Massacre. Por que o Massacre demorou tanto tempo para gravar o primeiro álbum? A gente já perguntou sobre isso, mas a gente volta um pouco aí nisso. O Massacre foi formado lá nos anos 80, mas só em 91 que gravou.
Sim. Ok. Ivan is asking about the delay to record the first Massacre because you left Death and then you went back to Massacre. And it took a long time to record the first album because the band is old, 86, and the album is 91. So, like, why such a delay?
That's just the way it came out. There's no excuse for that. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, those songs were written in I forgot the year. But they were released in 1991. I think From Beyond came out in 91, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. So the From Beyond songs were written between 1995 and 1996. All those songs were already written. And the only reason why that record even came out was because Digby Pearson from Earache Records, the owner of Earache Records, contacted David Vincent from Morbid Angel, and David Vincent called me and said, "Hey, Rick, Digby's a fan of Massacre. What do you think about putting out a record?" And of course, out of the blue phone call, what the friggin' frack do you say to that? But anyway, so that's how it happened. So there's nothing but respect to Digby Pearson from Earache Records because he was a fan of Massacre. Period. He was a fan of the band from demos from 84, which I wasn't even on. Alan West and Michael Borders were on those early demos.
Yeah.
Along with they had a dude named Mark Brentz that was a totally different kind of vocalist, but Barney was brought in, and but as far as your question, what you're asking, the main thing was there was nothing. The reason why that 1992 From Beyond Massacre release came out is because Digby Pearson, the owner, CEO, and whatever you want to call it, of Earache Records, was a fan of the band, and he contacted David Vincent from Morbid Angel, who took over vocals and bass, and called me, and I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Sure.
And that's how that happened. That's
great.
That's a coincidence. You know what I mean? That's like
Yeah.
one fucking person in the universe giving you an opportunity to put a record out. One,
Yes.
just one.
Yeah.
He contacted David Vincent, who became a very nothing but respected Mr. Vincent for sure. Regardless of whatever happened in their world, I'm not part of that.
Yeah.
But he called me.
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
I agreed, and that's how that happened. Period. That's why
Okay.
the very first Massacre record happened. But those songs were written in 1985 and 86 and were released in 1991. So it was kind of like behind the game. If they would have, if Digby would have released the record in 95 or 96, it'd be a whole different ball game. But it's cool, man. What are you gonna do? Go with what you got.
Yeah, one thing that is we have to mention is the fact that most of people don't realize that putting a record out in the 80s and the 90s was very difficult, 10 times more difficult than nowadays. Nowadays, you can put an album outside home if you want to. You record everything on your computer and you have an album.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was all luck.
Yeah.
There's luck with billionaires. You know what I mean? There's luck with like friggin' the 80s bands with friggin' all the, I'm not going to mention bands, but you know what I mean? Regardless of death metal, speed metal, or thrash metal, there was rock, there was this, there was that, It was all about what was cool at the moment.
Yeah.
This had nothing to do with what's cool at the moment. This was fucking dirt cheap shit.
Yeah.
and I don't no disrespect the way I said that, but it's true.
Yeah, it is.
There's no market. Zero
plastic
market.
Bands.
You want to talk underground? Go underground, okay?
Yeah.
Play death metal in 1983 and see where you go.
Yeah. It would have been impossible.
There was no dream. We weren't Kiss saying, "Hey, this is us at the fucking whatever."
Yeah.
No. It was rock and roll, and then Metallica and Slayer came along, and Slayer made it happen for me. So it's all about Slayer for speed. Metallica had great riffs, and Slayer has great riffs, but Kill 'Em All and Show No Mercy, two different ball games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna give
and then Hell Awaits. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
That knocked everybody around. It's like, holy shit, what the hell is this? It's all fact, dude.
Pergunta pro Rick, eu sempre achei que o Hell Waits
Não,
mais pra death
deixa eu só
metal.
fazer a tradução aqui rapidinho do que ele falou. Não esquece, né? Só que você vai rapidinho. I'm gonna give the Portuguese version, okay, and I'll be back in English. Bom, ele fala ali que aconteceu porque tinha que acontecer a demora, tá? Porque, tipo, os sons foram escritos em 84, 86, não lembro direito, né? E o álbum só foi lançado em 91 por conta do David Vincent, né? O CEO da Earache, né, ligou, o cara sempre foi fã do Massacre, dessas demos lá. Ele ligou pro David Vincent e pediu pro David Vincent falar com o Rick, né? Ele ligou pro Rick e disse, olha, a Earache quer botar o disco de vocês na roda, né? E foi como aconteceu, por incrível que pareça, né? Aconteceu justamente porque o cara da Earache ligou pro David Vincent e o David Vincent ligou para ele para lançarem o álbum.
Massa,
assim,
muito
né? Tipo, foi algo que nem ele falou assim, um cara na Terra que fez isso acontecer, né? Ele
assim,
tem aí as coisas, ele respeita bastante a trajetória do David também, né? E também falando ali, a gente estava falando dessas coisas que tinha uma certa demora para lançar álbum naquela época, porque tinha muito do que estava acontecendo no momento, né? As bandas as gravadoras tinham aquela urgência de lançar o que estava no momento, né? Se fosse thrash, fosse speed, então, tipo, tinha um pouquinho dessa demora, assim. Então isso ocorria. Que nem eu falei para ele sobre hoje em dia, qualquer um coloca um álbum na roda aí, até em casa, chega ali, grava no computador e deu. Ele só se alienta que essas bandas de agora não sobreviveriam na década de 80. De jeito nenhum. Porque naquela época.
Ótima percepção.
Porque essas bandas que a gente cita como bandas grandes, coisa e tal, elas também passaram por uma trajetória bem chata para conseguir alguma coisa, né? Porque tinham que estar no mainstream, algumas não estavam no mainstream, estavam à frente da época um pouco, né? Tu vai falar aí do Celtic Frost, por exemplo, que eu não conheço, né? Que sempre teve um pouquinho, 10 anos à frente de tudo que estava se fazendo, se fudia depois, mas tudo bem, né? Então,
mete o Hell Waits aí.
Pergunta pro
não,
Rick.
ele fala que sobre o Hell Waits, ele também fala que era o que estava pegando no momento, então uma das coisas mais rápidas que tinha também, né? Aí depois veio Show No Mercy, né? E o Kill and All também, bem importante.
Que o Hell Waits é um álbum de death metal. Pergunta pro Rick se ele não tem uma percepção parecida.
Sim. Jay is saying that Hell Waits is more a death metal album. Do you have this idea too? He's asking if you think it's almost like a death metal album too.
It would totally be a death metal album if there was a Chuck Schuldiner vocal on top of that.
Yeah, for sure. Seria totalmente álbum de death metal se fosse Chuck ali.
No, speed metal, thrash metal, and death metal to me, in my opinion, as one human being in the whole entire world, is all about the vocal.
Yeah.
The vocal changes everything for music.
Baita insight.
100%, my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I really agree.
Agree.
Ele fala ali que não importa, speed, thrash, death, o que muda é o vocal. E é o vocal que diz o que estilo
Baita
que a banda tem. Né? Tipo, é o vocal que faz a diferença. É ele que diz isso aqui, é isso aqui. Tanto que ele fala ali, né? O Chuck, se tivesse no Slayer, ia ser death metal.
Eu tenho a mesma impressão do Darkly Descends, do Dark Angel.
Também.
Tá.
Também.
Tem mais uma pergunta aqui do Rafael Pereira. Aqui.
Vamos liberar o Rick.
Rafael.
Tem a última pergunta aqui da audiência aqui. We have another audience question here for you. Rafael Pereira is asking, how did Kronos took part in the recording of Warhead and the album, the Human Condition album?
Oh, I spoke to Digby Pearson about doing the cover of Warhead. Just saying, hey, are you cool with Massacre doing a cover of Venom's Warhead on the Inhuman Condition EP? And his reply was, how about I get Kronos to come out and sing on it? What do you say to that? Are you fucking kidding me? What do you say to that? So I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. So Kronos came out. I picked him up at the airport. He hung out at the house I was staying at. Yeah, I won't get into all it was really fucking cool. You know, when you're kind of a kid and Kronos is coming out and he's, there's respect, nothing but respect.
Yeah.
And everybody in the Massacre lineup at that time had respect for Kronos. I'll leave one out, but it was good. Yeah. He played bass and sang vocals. Yes, it sounded as close to the Warhead cover or the Warhead original. It wasn't like a remake.
Yeah.
My point. This was Massacre playing Warhead with Kronos singing and playing bass. This wasn't like Massacre with somebody else singing and redoing Warhead. So I understand when you redo a cover tune, you want to make it your own. But when the original dude
is in the band,
song is singing and playing bass and was flown out from England to Florida to More Sound Studios to play on your fucking song. Hey, what do you say? You say, okay, cool. I don't know what it cost us because I didn't give a shit about money. I just thought it was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Terry Butler didn't get to play bass on that song because Kronos played bass. Did Terry Butler ever say, hey, fuck, this sucks, Kronos played bass on the song? No, he didn't. He
That's
didn't.
Kronos.
It was Cronus. Yeah, exactly. And Bill Andrews missed it because he had a life, and he didn't even get to see Cronus do this. So yeah, it was pretty fucking cool. That's all I have to say, man. You know what I mean? 1992.
Yeah.
It's 2022.
I can imagine that would be
I'm
like,
55 years old, and yeah, no, it was cool as fuck. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Picking up Cronus from the airport, driving him out to Moore-Sound, him sitting down and doing bass and vocals on freaking Warhead. Fucking A. That's all I have to say.
It was amazing. That cover is fantastic. I'm gonna give the Portuguese version here. Bom, ele fala ali que quando eles foram fazer o cover da Warhead, né, o produtor pegou e disse pra eles assim, tá, e o que vocês acham que eu consegui o Cronos? Quê? Aí ele pegou, veio da Inglaterra, né, de avião, ele foi lá buscar o Cronos no aeroporto, coisa e tal. Só que a curiosidade o Cronos não só cantou, ele cantou e tocou o baixo no Human Condition.
Amazing.
Então, tem essa treta assim. Eles acabaram esquecendo ali porque né, estavam fazendo outras coisas, colocaram só o crédito pro vocal, mas ele veio, tocou e cantou. Para eles foi fantástico, porque imagina, né? Quando tu tá fazendo um cover, tu tá fazendo uma versão, como ele mesmo disse. Só que ali é quase mais que um remake, porque tu tem o cara da banda original tocando ali, não só cantando, o cara tá cantando e tocando. Então, para eles, quando eles eram mais novos, acabou sendo fantástico, né? Porque eles eram ainda guris, assim, né? Tipo, pô, o Cronos veio da Inglaterra pra cá pra tocar com a gente, né? Não só pra cantar.
Muito bom.
O Gary nem pegou o baixo. nem quis pegar o baixo, né?
A última, Ivan.
Dando sequência aqui no Massacre, eu queria saber onde é que eles estavam com a cabeça quando eles gravaram o álbum Promise, que ele é muito diferente.
Ok. Ivan is asking about the ideas to record the album Promises. It's because it sounds completely different from Beyond.
Oh, Promise. Yeah, it was totally different. 100%. It was very, very influenced by Typo Negative.
Yeah.
And
yeah, great.
No, for real. That's it.
Yeah, I like it. That's
so,
the point.
But the whole main thing was it's all been denied by the vocalist because we wrote that whole record in him and his brother's apartment, and his brother, I'll say his first name, Brian Lee. He came up with the freaking album cover off of a book cover. So there's a lot of negative stuff from Barney that said he had nothing to do with that, and he didn't sing on it, and he didn't do this, and he didn't do that. And not to bring up freaking, dirty laundry, but he's full of shit. So he sang every fucking lyric on that fucking record, and he wrote every fucking lyric on that fucking record. So yeah, he was in a point in his life with, I guess, a bad girlfriend, and got into the freaking, Typo Negative thing, and I wrote along with it. So yeah, that's a fact. If he denies anything about that record, if he hates that record, that's cool. I told him, I'm like, dude, it was cool. It was
it's completely different, but it's cool. It's not bad.
Your experience, you're portraying part of your life of what you're going through, but he would never admit that. And yeah, so God bless Barney.com.
Ok, ele fala que é totalmente diferente mesmo, porque ele é totalmente diferente. Ele soa como o Typo Negative porque estava ouvindo bastante o Typo Negative. O vocalista passou pela mesma coisa que o Peter Steele, né? Brigou com a namorada, fez um monte de coisa, estava acontecendo um monte de coisa ruim. Ele não quer lavar a roupa suja, né? Uma coisa e tal. Ele fala ali que, né? Tipo, se ele não gosta do álbum, a culpa não é dele, porque ele também compôs o álbum. Ele gosta, ele acha interessante. O álbum virou essa coisa toda meio ligada com o Typo Negativo justamente por causa da situação. Ele estava numa situação ruim, né? Ele começou a escrever as letras influenciadas por isso, né? Ele pode dizer que ele não gosta do álbum, que é horrível, mas né? Então ele
filho,
curte.
não dá para renegar o filho, né?
É o que ele falou. O Rick gosta do álbum, ele compôs o álbum junto, né? Por mais que
O álbum é diferente.
Ele
não é
por
ruim,
mais
é
que
diferente.
eu esqueci o nome do outro cabeça ali agora.
Canley?
Não, o
Vocal?
outro. É.
Vocal é o Canley.
Né? Mas por mais que ele negue, né, a verdade é essa, ele gosta do álbum, só porque ele tava na mesma vibe ali, né?
Beleza.
Galera,
Bom,
vamos liberar
então?
o
cara.
Então tá.
Assim, ó, a gente quer agradecer demais a presença do Rick, ele é um cara fantástico, amigão nosso, e é sempre uma honra e um prazer estar conversando com ele. Pede para ele deixar as últimas palavras, por gentileza, meu amigo Christian.
Okay, so we are closing. And thank you very much for your presence here. Okay, we really
thank you
appreciate
very
talking
much.
to
This
you.
is fucking totally cool.
Yeah, and I would like you to leave a message for the people here. Okay, like all the audience in Brazil, and also we really expect to see Left to die. Sorry.
Left to die.
I'm getting old, but we
totally
really
cool.
expect to see Left to Die playing here in Brazil. Hope it can happen, really. Well, we really expect to see this tribute playing here in Brazil. It would be amazing. And obviously, if you release an album, it would be amazing too.
Hey, whatever the future holds, it happens. It's cool.
Yeah. Sounds like, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rick.
No, thank you. Thank you. For sure. Very cool.
Galera, sigam aí, a gente está numa agenda aí honesta e semanal aqui, conversando com os nossos ídolos, né? Dia 24, semana que vem tem o Mr. Mick Tucker, Tank estará conosco aqui, e Ryan Waste, no Municipal Waste, finalizando a agenda de maio do Heavy Culture. Galera, obrigado. Thank you so much, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Valeu, abraço.
It's very flattering.
Yeah. Será que vai funcionar? Let's go! Muito bom.
Uhul!